Hi, I'm doing a little meal planning and prep for this week. I don't have all my meals figured out yet, but I do know that I want to make some butternut squash soup. I had actually planned on making some last week or the week before, and I never did get to it. So I'm going to make it today, and it's not for supper today, it's to have for lunches throughout the week. I'm also going to make some chocolate tahini oat bars, and I've made them before and they're quite yummy. Even my husband liked them. So I am going to make that, and that's like just for a treat. Like sometimes when you want a little something, and it actually, my cupboard's open, and oh, it's just a little something, and it has substance, so it's not like empty calories, and it's very good for you. Well, like as far as like a treat goes. So I'm gonna make that as well. Okay, so today I am making some butternut squash soup, and I have my ingredients out and ready. I have my oven preheated. 1 second. Okay, so I have my squash cut in half, and I still have all my fingers, and I've scooped the seeds and the yucky stuff, and then I'm going to brush it with some oil and put it face down in my pan. Okay, I lied to you. It is going cut side up in the oven. Okay, so not cut side down, cut side up. And this has all been brushed with oil. Okay, so while my butternut squash is in the oven, I am going to chop my onions and my apple. Crying. Oh my goodness. That's from, oh, they hurt. That's from chopping the onions. Oh my goodness. That is a strong onion. So I didn't measure the onion. It's 0 points. Oh my goodness. The onion is 0 points, and it calls for 1.5 cups. So I'm not too worried about it. Okay, I dried my eyes, but they're still. And it just calls for 1 apple. Oh, I was supposed to peel the apple. Darn it. Now this soup calls for navy beans or white kidney beans. I thought I bought some, but I can't find any. So I don't want to run out to the store because I don't have my full grocery list and I don't want to run out just for one item. So I'm going to try and substitute it with chickpeas. I don't know if it's going to make a huge difference or not. And I've never made this recipe before, so I don't know what it tastes like made with the navy beans. So I guess my only judgment will be if this soup is good. So I have nothing to compare it to. Okay. And you're going to hear some noise in the background because the kitchen's right next to the garage and my husband is in there making something. Could be anything. I think he has a bazillion projects on the go. So while I'm waiting for that roast to cook, oh my goodness, the butternut squash, I'm going to make my chocolate tahini oat bars. Okay, so for the chocolate tahini oat bars, we are going to need some, I'm not sure how this is pronounced, medjool dates, and we're going to have to remove the pits. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Now I just use, before when I made this, I have real maple syrup. For this one, I am trying this walnut flavored syrup. This stuff is 0 points. So I'm going to give it a go. And we need some rolled oats, 2½ cups of rolled oats, 1/3 cup of tahini. Hopefully I have enough. It's pretty low. And some chocolate chips, which I did not grab yet. And a tablespoon of coconut oil. And it calls for flaky sea salt. They just sprinkle it on top. I never did it before and I'm not going to bother to do it this time. And some sesame seeds. So you're also going to need, a food processor. One that's at least can hold 7 cups. So we are going to remove the pits. Oh, I grabbed the flour instead of oats. I have to go get the chocolate chips anyways. Okay. That's fairly easy to remove, not hard at all. And I got these dates at a bulk barn. And I don't know if I've seen them in the grocery store or not. Yes, you can. That was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, I do have 15. But I find the bulk barn great. Like ours has gotten even better. The stuff that you can find, like all the health food stuff, you can make your own. Like they have grinders there where you can make your own almond butter, I think, and stuff like that. Like they have all the things that you never really heard of. Like all the different kinds of flours, all different kinds of pastas, like made with different things. Like black bean pasta, I can't remember what other ones, but there's all different kinds of things there. And it's so much cheaper. So I'm gonna try and get in the habit of checking with my bulk barn for things like this and for my seasonings. because sometimes you need a lot of a seasoning and sometimes you only need a little bit because it's not something you use a lot. So I'm going to start shopping at the Bulk Barn a lot more. And they even have stuff like protein powders and all kinds of teas now. Like the herbal teas and green teas and black teas and all that stuff. Okay, that's our dates. I need to wash my fingers because they are super sticky. I'm not sure if I have enough, so I also grabbed my extra bag. I grabbed some chocolate chips. Okay, so we're going to combine the dates, the maple syrup, the rolled oats, and the tahini. So we need 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. And like I said, this stuff is 0 points. Let's see how much real maple syrup would be. Oh, it smells so good, I can smell it. So if I use regular maple syrup, and if I used 3 tablespoons, it would be 9 points. So with me using this, I've cut 9 points out of the recipe. And I get this at Sobeys. And it's their Walden Farms. They have a whole section where you can get like coffee liqueurs and stuff like that. I'm adding 3 tablespoons. And as you see, it's nice and thick. I don't know if you can see this. Watch me pour it. So that's nice and thick. And I need 1/3 cup of tahini. I hope I have enough. I think I'll have just enough. Yeah. Actually, I have a little bit more than enough. Very little bit more. I'm going to add that because there's a little section missing there. If you've never heard of tahini, it's basically ground sesame seeds. What do they add? I wonder if they add oil or something. It says no preservatives or artificial ingredients. But I can't see their ingredients listed. Oh, it just says 100% ground sesame seeds. Can't get much more natural than that. So I'm adding that to the food processor. Unfortunately, the food processor has a very short cord, so I can't move it closer. Once I get it going, I'll move the camera closer so you can see it mixing up. I'm going to add 2½ cups of rolled oats. I think I got plenty in here. I don't need to open the bag. That's 1 cup. And then we're going to blend that on high for a minute, and then we'll scrape down the sides and blend it for another minute. that is perfect. It's already forming into a ball, and that's what we want. Now, if your mixture was not forming into a ball, like this is already happening in the thing. Like you can see it's forming very well. If that wasn't happening, you could add 1 or 2 tablespoons of melted coconut and put it through the processor again. But both times I've made it, I didn't have to do that. Be careful of the blades. And we're going to press that down into the pan. So we're going to press it down into the pan. I'm going to run the water so I can keep putting this under the water, because if not, it just sticks. I'm never happy until I get my hands in. Same thing with art. You need to get in it and get dirty. Just try and make sure that it's an even layer. And once it is, then I'll go in with the cup. And really push that down. Another nice thing about these, they do not bake. You just make them and put them in the fridge. Okay, so that's our base. And now our top. We're just going to melt some chocolate chips in the microwave for 20-second increments. And then we're going to stir in the coconut oil until it's smooth, and then we're going to pour it over our base. So now I just have regular chocolate chips. So this is going to cost me points. But at least I'm making up for it with maple syrup. It's probably all going to go to the chocolate chips. But I've seen a lot of people, and I saw it at the bulk burn, but I was not willing to spend the money on it. I think it was like $15 or something for a bag of Lily's dark chocolate chips. And that's what I see most Weight Watcher people use on their channels. But I'm going with this. So we need 1 cup. I could just eat these as they are. They are so yummy. The Hershey's, oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm just going to melt this in the microwave. Okay, so the chocolate has been melted and a tablespoon of coconut oil has been added. I'm just stirring that. And then we're going to pour it over our base. I'm just going to spread that out. You could probably actually get, that seems like a lot of chocolate. You could probably actually get away with less. Oops. That's our butternut squash. Can't waste all that chocolate. That would be crazy. If I'm going to count the points for it, I'm getting it. It's going in there. Okay, now if you're using flaky sea salt, you would sprinkle that on now. And then I'm just going to sprinkle some sesame seeds. Actually, I think I'm also going to sprinkle some chia seeds on top because they are very good for you. Get my chia seeds. And that is it. And now it's going to go in the fridge until until the chocolate has hardened. Okay. So to our pot, we're going to add about a tablespoon of butter. And we're going to melt that and add our onion and apple. And for our seasonings, we have sage, cinnamon, ginger, and salt and pepper. Okay, the butter has melted. I'm going to add in the onion and the apple. And hopefully I don't start to cry again. Okay, we're also going to need 4 cups of vegetable broth. I'm using the Better Than Bouillon. It's a seasoned vegetable base. So we're going to need 4 cups. So for every cup of water, you need 1 teaspoon of the seasoning. And our squash has been taken out of the oven, and it's cooked and cooling down and looking quite yummy. My husband doesn't think so, but I do. So we're cooking this until the onions and the apple have softened. I'm going to turn this down so it doesn't burn. And even in the recipe it says don't rush it, so I'm not going to rush it. So I thought I was recording and then realized that the camera had turned off. So I added my seasoning. I'm going to add my chickpeas, and it calls for navy beans or white kidney beans, but like I said, I don't have any, so I'm trying the chickpeas and hopefully it'll be good. And we're also going to add our 4 cups of vegetable broth. Okay, now we're going to scoop out our butternut squash and add it to the pot. And where my stove is, I have a hard time getting this angle, but hopefully you can see it fine. this peel is like coming right off. So instead of scooping it, I'm just going to peel it. Ooh, maybe not. It's hot. I'm just double checking that there's no peel when I add it to the pot. Well, that part feels hard still. Okay, that's all I'm going to add because that is hard. And I can't see that being good for the soup. So I guess next time I will put it on 425. Because I only put it on 375, I believe it was. And it is not all cooked. That or I need to put it on for longer. So we're going to bring that to a boil, and then we're going to turn it down and simmer and cover it for 15 minutes. Okay, it has come to a boil, so I'm going to turn the heat down and cover it. And it says for 15 minutes, but I'm going to do it for a bit longer. Well, I'll check it at 15 minutes, and I may leave it on for longer because some of my butternut squash was a bit hard. So we will see. So I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes, and I'll check it, and then we'll see. Okay, so 15 minutes is up. I'm going to give it a check. Yeah, I'm going to put it in for longer yet. Some of that is still hard. So I'm going to try another, yeah, it's almost good. I'm going to try another 5 minutes. Okay, so this has been on for the 15 minutes that it called for, and then an additional 15 minutes after that. And that's only because my butternut squash did not fully cook in the oven. So now I'm going to take the immersion blender, which I hate doing. It's a great invention, but I hate doing it. Okay, I got some butternut squash soup on my pancakes. I'm going to give this a stir and see if I got everything. And I did. Okay, now it calls for cream, but you don't have to use it, so I'm going to taste it first before I decide. I'm going to turn that off. I'm trying to wipe the butternut squash soup off of my pancakes. Very hot. Oh my goodness. It's so hot. My first reaction was that it tasted good, but then it just started to burn because it was so hot. So I'm going to clean my spoon and have another taste. I'm the only one that's going to be eating this, so I really didn't need to clean my spoon, but if this is good, then I'm probably going to share it with my friend so she can try it and see if she likes it. It's very thick, which is nice. Honestly, that is so good. It was so good. I'm not adding the cream because that's just points. And honestly, I don't think it needs it. I'm sure it would be good with it, but I'm going to leave it out because it is really yummy. And if I don't try it with the cream, then I don't know what I'm missing. And I already think it tastes great. So I'm going to leave it as is. So even though my squash wasn't cooked, and I used chickpeas instead of navy beans. I forgot about that, and it still tastes good. So yay! I give that one a try. I could recommend you guys to try it. Okay, so I made these tahini oat bars before. But I'm guessing it must have been before I joined Weight Watchers because I just put it in the recipe builder and I'm so sad because it is 9 points for one. If I divide this into 16, it is 9 points for one. That makes me so sad. So actually, it'd probably be easier. I'm going to get my cutting board. So this is why we use parchment paper, because you can lift it right out. Trying to get on camera here. So if we cut this in half, and then in half again, this way. So that is 16. If you can see, let me move this down. So that's 16 pieces. That would be 9 points. That makes me sad. Now, if I did it in half again, it's like 4.5 points for that little bit. That is insane. I am so sad. So sad. So, yeah. Okay, so I have done the meal prep for today. There was a chai pudding I was going to try, but I'm not sure where I saw the recipe, so I have to find it again. So I just thought I would go over a few things. The chocolate tahini oat bars. I want to cry because they are so good. Like, honestly, I think they are so yummy. Like, the first bite, you're thinking nothing special. Oh, sorry, I get itchy nose. We say that means you're gonna kiss a fool. I don't know where it came from, but that's what I used to hear growing up. I've been kissing a fool for over 20 years. Anyway, they are so good. So good. But 9 points. And even if you cut it in half, I mean, that is such a small piece for 4.5. Now, when cut into 16s, if one of those pieces was 4.5, I'd be okay with that. I may take this recipe to my Weight Watcher leader and see what she has to say. But, oh my goodness. I think hubby and I are gonna have a smooch fest. I have an itchy nose. The roasted butternut squash soup, super yummy. And I just worked out the points, and this is pretty much gonna be maybe count a point, because for the whole recipe, the whole entire thing, it is 9 points. Because squash is 0. Your 2 teaspoons of oil is 3 points. Your tablespoon of butter is 5 points. Onion, apple, all your seasonings is 0. And the broth is only 1 point because I used 4 whole teaspoons of it. Chickpeas are 0. And I didn't add any cream. So that equals 9 points, and that's for the whole pot. I'm not going to sit down and eat the whole pot. I could never. So, I don't know. I would probably just count it as 1 point for a cup, even though it's not even. Because it says the soup, like it makes 7 cups. But I feel like there's more than that in there. So yeah, I count it as 1 point a cup. If you add the cream, add another point. No cream, just 1 point. So that's not bad. That's really good for a soup. And it is so yummy. So that is it. That is all I have to share for today. I don't have my meal planning finished. I was in the kitchen a lot longer than I expected. And now, after doing all that, I don't want to cook anything for supper. So I may have leftovers. Yesterday I made I don't know, it was some herb chicken soup thingy with dumplings. The dumplings were disgusting. I didn't eat those, so that saved me like 3 points a dumpling, I think it was. Yeah, so it was only 3 points for the soup. And it was really good, but I'll go more into that when I finish my meal plan and I share that with you. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.